Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Chair, first I want to give a shout out. We had a bill sponsored with Dr. Yoho from the House side, the Wingman Act, which was working to integrate networks guaranteeing Member Access Now Act. Some folks in our state, veterans in our state, felt as if there was insufficient responsiveness by regional offices, but I can say that and the VA opposed our Wingman Act, but let me just give a shout out to the folks back home. Mark Bologna is one of them, who has just made incredible strides in terms of constituent service. And so I just want to give credit where credit is due. The need that we were identifying in order to push this legislation on a local level, they've made strides in eliminating the need for. So just to say that. But Dr. Lawrence, I'm really interested in exploring the increased incidence of suicide among veterans. And it's unclear to me that it's peculiar to veterans. If you look at the non-veteran population in the same demographic as the veterans who are committing suicide, the non-veteran demographic or cohort has the same suicide rate or higher. Does that make sense?
I'm unfamiliar with the data, but I believe what you just said, yes.
So I gather that the VBA has multiple business lines from which they can capture the data on veterans committing suicide. For example, the GI Bill, the Home Loan Guarantee Bill, et cetera. We've not been told how they do this, but we're just told they can. We're also told that the Veterans Administration's Office of Suicide Prevention is in the initial stage of sharing information to try to collate this in an effort to prevent veteran suicides, but that it requires a memorandum of understanding even if it is within the VA. So, so the GI Bill folks may have the info, but they need an MOU to share it with the Office of Suicide Prevention. I raise it knowing I know the answer, but just to document. Would you support this effort, and would you support the Office of Suicide Prevention team's efforts in expediting what appears to be a cumbersome process of getting MOUs signed between VA agencies in order to get the data back to begin to analyze?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I think we can even draw on the experience of the vocational rehabilitation and education folks, where they have counselors who work with folks to normally get them into education, but they've been trained. They all have master's degree in casework and social. They also receive additional training for suicide identification and the like. So a model for that collaboration and sharing as quickly as possible across the organization exists.
That would be great. I've shared this in the past with previous VA panels. I've been told they'd be open, but it's never happened. There is a researcher at Princeton, Ann Case, PhD, and she's the one who has come up with the concept of death by despair, looking at folks 25 to 55, or 35 to 55, non-college educated, other things that are notable, and they're the ones that have our high suicide rates. And what I was interested in is if you took the VA data and you gave her sort of analysis, would we learn something that would help us identify? I used to think it was all the kids coming back from Iraq in the current war, but then I later learned, no, it's Vietnam veterans, it's Korean veterans who are committing suicide disproportionately. So I guess what I'm asking is both internally, but also externally, doing the sort of data analysis that would give us insights as if there's something we can do to decrease the number of veteran suicides. Again, just asking your commitment to at least be open to it, because I've raised it in the past. People have assured me they are open to it, but it never happens, which is somewhat of a frustration.
Certainly. I appreciate your frustration. That sounds like thoughtful analysis and hypothesis. Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. With that, I yield back. Thank you.